Technical support. I was trying to think of a good analogy for technical support, and the best I could come up with was food which may or may not be out of date. The only way you know if it's any good is if you actually try it. Technical support is like that. So in this video I'm going to mention 5 large companies and just tell you what my experience of technical support has been like with them, and it's not all good. I'm also going to point you to a free synth and effect which are well worth downloading in my opinion. Now, I was prompted to make this video by some excellent technical support I have just received, and by just I mean in the last couple of hours. So we may as well start with that. This was from a company called uJam. Now, you may not have heard of uJam. I don't think they are a massive company, but they are a big enough company to have several software products on the market. They also have 2 free products which I will link to in the description. One of them is called Drive. I shall do a little demo in a minute. Now, this is a free product, but when I installed it, it didn't work and I got an error message saying that the file was corrupted. So I sent a message to technical support and I got a reply saying try this, try that. I tried what they suggested and it still didn't work. So a big shout out to Stefan, high five, who was on the other side of the technical support ticket. He said we can arrange a Zoom meeting and I'll try to talk you through what might be going wrong. So I've just come from that meeting. We were on the meeting for well over an hour. I would think it was complicated by some technical issues. Not his fault, not my fault. It's just things sometimes don't work correctly. So he solved the problem. It was a corrupt file which was in a place which I didn't expect it to be, and I don't think he did either, but the door was reading the corrupt file and causing an error message. So we got Drive working. So we spent over an hour on this call. Now this is a free program. So here is a company, one of their technical support people spent an hour on a one-to-one call to try to solve a problem for a customer with a free product. Now, to me, that is an 11 out of 10. And no, I didn't get any more freebies from them. So let's have a look at Drive so you can see what it's about. So this is Drive from uJam, and all the uJam synths have a similar appearance. They have the same sort of interface. So the idea is that they have been designed to be extremely easy to use. A lot of the settings go on in the background and you have these macro knobs and controls to adjust various parameters. You don't actually have a massive amount of control over the sound, but sometimes that's not always required, and if you don't have a good background in synthesis, then that will be a positive advantage. So let's just hear the first preset. I think this is called sort of House Essentials, this Drive software. Let's try another preset. Okay, well that was interesting because I was actually just holding down 1 note, so it's playing that chord and that riff, or those chords and that chord riff. So that's interesting. Let's try another one. It's interesting bass sound or pluck sound. Oh, again, this is just 1 note. I'm holding down 1 note here. Okay. Okay, 1 note there as well, so it creates little riffs for you. So one of the things I like about the interface is that they have these little dice buttons. You can select which parameters you want to randomize, and you do that by clicking the dice button. So this is the sound. Let's click the dice button. It's added a bit of a twang to it. It's added a variation. Anyway, that's as much as I'm going to go into with Drive, but as I say, it's free, so there's no reason why you shouldn't download it and check it out. And while you're there, check out the free Finisher Micro plugin as well. Again, the links to these are in the description. So after I came off the uJam call, I was thinking about the technical support I'd received from other companies, and a few of them stood out, not always for the best reasons. If you've seen some of my other videos, you know I am a big fan of Arturia. I have a lot of their software and I have some of their hardware. I have had to get in touch with them on several occasions to sort out queries. I have had excellent and fast email replies. Now, they didn't offer a Zoom meeting, but then they didn't have to. So this is absolutely, again, this is my own personal experience, but again, Arturia, I think, gets a 10 out of 10. You will also know that I am a big fan of Native Instruments and recently upgraded to Complete 14. I have had to get in touch with them on a couple of occasions. One was a really difficult technical problem to solve. It ended up being a corrupt database, which was quite difficult to track down. So again, I had a lot of email support. They were very helpful and the problem eventually got solved. Now, while we're talking about the good guys, I am mainly talking about the larger companies who do have a proper technical support department. I have also had a lot of dealings with the small one, maybe 2 or 3 man companies who handle their own technical support. And I have to say, in most cases, they deal with it very well. I'll just mention a couple of recent experiences. One is Sunny Sense, which I think is a one-man company. It's run by a guy called Dominique. He produced the Grandmother Patch Mapper, which I reviewed. Links to all these things will be up there and in the description. And he has also created a synth editor for the Udo Super 6, which I haven't got around to looking at yet, I'm afraid. I've also had good correspondence with Ultimate Patches, who again I think is a one-man company, and they were also very helpful. Okay, so I've mentioned 3 big companies. Let's mention 2 big companies whose technical support I don't think was really quite up to scratch. The first is, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll probably guess this. The first is Roland. Now, I did get email replies from the company, but they weren't very helpful, and I think they were a bit offhand and dismissive. They really didn't want to answer or go into the questions I was asking. If you want to see exactly what they said, then check out this video, and I'll leave a link to that one in the description as well. And the second company I'm going to mention, I'm sad to say, is Steinberg. I use Cubase Pro. I've had occasion to send them 2 support requests after filling in the online form, which wants to know your mother's maiden name and the number on the back of your credit card before they'll let you submit a ticket. But I managed to fill in all the information and I haven't had a reply from them. Now, I will admit that they were perhaps silly questions, partly perhaps due to the fact that I have pretty poor vision. But still, you would think they could at least reply. They still might. The last request went off 3 days ago, so there is hope yet, I think. Now, I can totally appreciate that some of these companies will have users which number in their hundreds of thousands. So trying to provide technical support for such a database of users and with such a vast product range, I can imagine would be difficult. But that's why the companies are big in the first place, because they produce a lot of equipment and they sell a lot of it, so they have a lot of users. So I don't know if my experience ties in with your experience. I would hope that my poor experiences were not reflected in yours, but please do let me know any companies you've had really good technical support from, and also any companies you've had really poor or non-existent technical support from. Let me know in the comments. I'm sure this will be of massive interest to many viewers. So I hope you found this interesting, perhaps even useful. If you did, perhaps you would like to consider subscribing to the channel, ringing the bell. Thank you. So YouTube will tell you when I release new videos, and do please click the big thumb provided you enjoyed the video. Of course, as always, thank you for watching, and before you go, perhaps I could suggest that you might enjoy these videos. See you soon.